Hello there, friends. Yeah. What do I like to talk about? Yeah, this is the question really, because there's so many issues, there's so many topics, there's so many things. I've been looking at like alternative media and things for years, decades. I mean, intensively since millennium, since 2001. And years of posting information and telling people, informing people about like the dangers in society. What dangers? The dangers that the things that are forced upon us by our systems, by our society, by government. Things like mandatory vaccination. Or vaccination without informing the people. Um, Health, general nutrition and stuff, like fast food, selling its unhealthy food, through advertising and stuff. Television portraying a completely wrong picture of life, school for like beating the will out of children and teaching them false things, church for leading people into the dark and keeping them like blind about the truth of, what religion really means, to come back to yourself, the whole health system, that people, that health institutions can benefit from people's illnesses. It's just an obvious loophole to make people sick to earn money. In a world where people are more in need of money than love, then selling illness is a really dangerous game. And if we're forced to be members of a society, surely that society's first and uppermost priority is the health and well-being of its members. Would you join a club that expected more from you and then made you pay for any illnesses? And then you get all of these disputes that come back from everything that you talk about, Fluoridation, amalgam, Monsanto, chemtrails, global warming or not, terrorism or not, all of these things, the list goes so long that it would take me a whole video just to make the list, let alone cover one on the other topic. And then people are so in dispute about what it all means that the conversation goes on for a lifetime. There's enough people to talk about all of these things and enough people to address these things, and if people took them seriously and sort of kind of came to a conclusion about, the debate carries on, but we need to decide that it's at least important enough to talk about and keep talking about, and not sort of like, oh yeah, I know about Monsanto, nothing I can do about it, maybe I'll talk about it again next year when enough more people are interested. Meanwhile I'll just continue. Obviously we're not doing that. For myself, I got worn out. I got worn out with taking part in society, in the whole status game, the whole idea of trying to get a career and a job and a house and a wife and kids and a picket fence and all of these things that we all so much want, because Hollywood has portrayed those things as being the things, We've been sold, sold nature back to ourselves in a shrink wrap, and I don't like that. And I got tired of trying to play the let's be social game, let's try and be political correct. I don't, I don't even get that much, like, friends and stuff don't have the time for me, really. So why even bother being politically correct to keep friends, Why be even polite and well-mannered in such a sick society? In a society where if I now, on this video, just lost all my, like, temper and just turned into a stupid idiot and did somersaults in anger, this video would probably go viral and people would be laughing and it'd be great and fantastic, but would it change the world? No. Somehow we're fixed on sensationalism, I think, Maybe I am too. But I think I and others, we're clever enough to know how, we catch ourselves out. I can see in me, at times where my ego steps forward. But sometimes I wish it was more often. Sometimes I see when my pity steps forward, and I wish it was less, Just the same thing. It seems I'm tempted to get really angry and shout, and I think there's a time for that. I feel like shouting, I feel like giving in, I feel like, what do I mean by giving in? Not making videos, not trying to, well, it's not the making videos, I love having the videos and community and friends and stuff, but actually trying to break down the information that I'm researching, and portray it in such a way that it sounds kind of like, playful and obvious and simple, but when I know all the time it's everything that I'm researching at its backbone is about getting back the power. It's about making sure that I can understand, for me, how I feel much less fear knowing what I know now. And a lot of you can relate to the different steps that you go through and stuff, but those steps don't end. And I know just yesterday or last year or the year before, the way I saw the world, the steps that I made, the things that I contemplated I need to do to move forward were absolutely insane when I look back at them now. But I needed to think about them so deep. I really got led astray with information. I had nightmares and woke up sweating because the information to me I know is real. When I'm researching, I'm looking for something, I am here in this world. I've got to the end of my tether. All of these conspiracy, alternative media, all of this news, all of this information, be it real or fake, be it history or not, it doesn't help me then. It doesn't help me. In a world that I feel like I'm about to leave, it doesn't help me. So what would I want to take with me? What is it that I want to take and fight with? What's my weapon? And I have to choose love, because that's what everybody always taught me. Even though all those people are always like pity or anger or sorrow or cynicism, there's still a backbone of society that says, all you need is love. And I thought love was just a spiritual idea, something that nobody could explain. But my deeper research into the law and everything else, that word in itself has so much power. It has so much meaning. So that's the only weapon I can take. So then I'm forcing that weapon upon everything I see, forcing my idea upon the literacy, and not letting the literacy of the world force its idea upon me. If I see a sign that says, keep calm and relax, then I question that sign, because I'm the one who's reading it. It isn't reading it to me. It's so simple. So I'm responsible for the sign saying to me, keep calm and. So, how can I interpret that? I'm lost in this world with stupid signs. I think it's my right to be able to say, look, this is the way I see it. Because I've got two ways of seeing it now. I can see it with eyes of love, or I can see it with eyes of suspicion. And suspicion says to me that you're trying to control me. You're trying to trick me and fool me and suck all of my energy out. You're trying to control all of my friends. You're trying to control everything that I love about life. But if I see it through the eyes of love, the only weapon that I've chosen, I have to say, no. You're tricking me into being a stronger person. You're tricking me into standing up against you. You're tricking me into choosing what's right and not what's stupid. You're tricking me into standing up against my own friends and family and my own closest peers and saying, look, I love you all, but I have to do what I have to do, regardless of what you think. Think bad of me, but I don't think bad of you for thinking bad of me. You know, one of the biggest mottos that I discovered in old French, Latin, on the front of the British passport, on the seal of the realm, you know, it's there, a very powerful symbol that's like been there all the time. It's on our court seals, on our paperwork, on our bureaucracy. You know, there it is. Honi Zoki Mali Pons. You know, evil is who thinks evil of it. What is it? Is it that madness? Is it that craziness? Is it that evil? Is it that satanistic energy that's coming from society? That all it worships is money. All it seems to worship is control and power. Sensationalism and trickery. Or is it saying, don't think evil of that. That's a test. Stay strong with it, Steve. Stay strong with it, everybody. It's a trick. It's a test. Not everything in life's a trick. But it is often saying to you, you've got the choice to see it with eyes of love or to see it with the eyes of suspicion. And if you see it with the eyes of love and you get it wrong, then nobody can say anything. You know, if you do something out of love and you got it wrong, who can blame you? Who can hold you culpable? Who can say, oh, you know. But if you do something out of suspicion and you're tricked and your enemy already knows because you come in with a suspicious attitude. You know, so I say, you know, if I'm looking at people that I'm angry with, then I'll look, you know, then I'll it's not suspicion. I'm damn right angry with the government. I'm angry with the Queen. I'm angry with the institutions and the rich and the snobs. But I'm angry with a lot of different people. It's got nothing to do with class. I'm angry with people who don't get on their feet and say what they know is right, because it's more comfortable to sit back and enjoy life otherwise. I get angry because people don't support me and don't recognise the fact that I'm making a sacrifice, an extra sacrifice to share this information because I hope that we can all benefit as a community. When in actual fact I could stop sharing this information and stop talking about these things and make another channel about, like, learn to play guitar and get 50,000 views or something. You know, I could choose a different way, but I choose to sacrifice all of those other options to do these videos, and I don't know if I'm very good at them. I don't propose to be very good at them. Like, the songs are right. I'm proud of the songs I write, but I don't think I'm always the best one to sing those songs. I don't think I'm always the best one to perform those songs. I need a band playing those songs. And sometimes I'd like to sit in the audience and watch a song that I'd written be played. Or I'd like to watch somebody else take a song of mine and make it better. You know, but I've got to put something in here for others to take it, and I've got to be proud of it. You know, as soon as one person can recognise the qualities of another, that gives it a special force, a real force. It's been recognised. It's recognisable. It has recognition. Maybe we need to recognise the seriousness of the situation and to recognise how much we need to laugh and how much we need to be brave and to love and to try and not confuse seriousness with anger. You know, not to think that just sorrow is genuine, you know, but actually being happy and fighting with laughter and, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just know that, like, you know, my research carries on. It makes it harder for me to try and work out how to share that information because it's mental information, and it's also in German and English, so I have to then split it into two halves and then try and translate between the two. It's not really fair, and I don't think it's necessary. I think if people just believe in themselves and not get wrapped up in suspicion and use love as a weapon, there's no necessity to decode anything or to find out any hidden meanings, because everything's so on the surface. Everything's so obvious. It's so obvious that we're being treated like animals. But most people have just become comfortable with society, and I see much bigger. I see much better in the world. I see much bigger and better in you, and you know I do. And I know you expect more from yourself, and I know you can give 1,000 times more. But only when you do what you're passionate about, only when you do that what is given to you through divinity, through your heart, through your soul, through your might, and makes perfect sense to you, only that will give you then a multiple of power. 10 times the amount of power, 100 times. You know, when we do things that we're forced to do or told to do by others or regulated by, then we've got half the amount of energy. And so we shouldn't mistake that. You know, when you come into your potential and follow your passions, that's not comparable to how you feel when you're doing something that somebody else told you to do. You know, that's where a lot of the power is. That's where all of your power is. The point is you. Okay. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Yeah. You know, just to end it quick, you know, there's two sides, Sinister and Dexter. You know, sometimes you have to keep things to yourself because, you know, others are not going to understand. In fact, you might have to just tell somebody else the scary side. You know, the horrible side about the problem. You know, you might have to just talk about those problems and keep going out with those problems, even though you're tired of it. But then on the other hand, to always realise that the problem isn't, you know, it's there are solutions, that we're looking forward. You know, there was that was, you know, that which was, that which is, and that which will be. And we need to make sure that we're paving the way for love. We're paving the way with our minds for new ideas. That we're paving the way to see clearly, without seeing just suspicion. Without stopping and searching in every idea to see if it's suspicious or, you know, love is stronger anyway, so we can spot at last minute, you know, if something's not going to stand up to that test. Because we're a community of souls, you know. You who are watching now, you know, we're connected. Almost like family. Well, yeah, family, connected. And I don't want to say us and them, you know, them are also people who are lost, you know, and I want to bring them back in. All of those, you know, even the people who we consider to be the ruling class, the elite class. I'd like to sit in this woods now, maybe share a joint with them, say, you know, smoke and inhale, my friend. You shall be the anointed one. Let us talk about this world. If you have any power left, if you have any administrative power, then use it. Use it for the divine. Listen to the people if you cannot listen to yourself. Smoke and think of those who gave you this opportunity. Okay, thank you very much for watching. See you later. Cheerio.